Yeah, hello everyone. This is Abdullah. So today we are going to see about the supplier creation in Oracle Fusion. So how we are going to create the supplier and what and all setup is there and what kind of approval we need to do in the approval criteria. So we are going to see all those things. So when you are creating supplier in Oracle Fusion, so you should do some prerequisite for this. So first we need to give the roles. So roles is required for the creating supplier is supplier manager. So this role is help for you to create the supplier creation. So after you given the role to the user, so user must be buyer. So why we need to create the buyer role because of if you want to create the supplier site, you should have the buyer role. If you are not having the buyer role, then you cannot able to create the supplier site. So these things we have to make sure. Then we need to do the approval manager. So let's see one by one. So how we are going to assign the role for this supplier manager. So log into the Fusion instance and go to the supplier navigation and tools and security console. Security console. Go to user and search your username. I'm just created Anbo username. So here I have already provided the supplier manager role. So I no need to additionally add those roles to this user. So I have already created for this. If you are creating if you are creating a new user, then you should add this user to this user. Sorry, add this role to this user. So one setup is now completed. Then what we need to do? So user must be in buyer role. So how this user must be in buyer role? So if buyer role in the sense employee role. So employee only if company employee can only do the supplier side configuration. So if you are a buyer, then you must be employee in the company. So you should think like that. So if you want to create the employee user, then you should come here setup and maintenance, manage user. So here you have to create the employee user, then only buyer role will be assigned to the user. So just give some name here, last name. So here you can create your own employee user, or else you can link the existing user which there in the Oracle Fusion. So I'm using Unbo user for the implementation. So I can do the setups and configuration, but I cannot do the transaction because I don't have the employee role. So what I'm going to do, I have the implementation user. So I'm going to link that implementation user to this employee user. So likewise, so if you search the Unbo user means, so I have already assigned it. Just a minute. Yeah. So I have already assigned it. That's why it's not showing me. Suppose if some user is there, text and dot test. So you can select. So for example, I'm saying I have already linked the implementation user. That's why I'm not doing that. If you want to link any user, so you should do like this. You just select the your implementation user and okay, just click OK. Then that existing user attach it to the employee user. Then this user must be a employee as well as implementation user. So if you want to create a alone for the employee user, so you can select this and enter the username and type your username at all. So you need to select the employee here. So as I said, if this is the employee user, since this is the employee user, so we need to select the person type as an employee. As per the legal employer, you should select the legal entity and the business unit. So once you select those business unit, then click this auto provisional rule. So here email ID is mandatory. Just give some Gmail email ID here over here. So once it's got completed, then you just select the auto provisional rules. So for this employee, what rule is required, that will show here. So employee role we have assigned to this user. So this is role, this is the user we need to create for the employee. I'm not going to save and close. Like I said, I have already created the employee user. So once we completed this, then we need to create the procurement agent. So if the employee must be a buyer, then we should create the manage procurement agent. So why we are creating this procurement agent? Because we have created for the employee alone. So what we thinking, like we have created the employee user for the business, but we have not created the buyer for this user. So this employee should be a buyer. So then you need to create the manage procurement agent. So go to procurement agent. So you are converting employee user as a buyer. So if you want to convert this employee user as a buyer, then you have to create the procurement agent. Then only you'll be a buyer. So you should select the your business unit, and agent means your username. So we have selected for test, just select the test and test. So this is the example user I'm giving. So when you are creating your own user in manage user page, then that user should come here. So select your business unit, default business unit, and then you just leave as it is. So if you want others to see the manager negotiation, purchase order, purchase agreement, then you can give the access to full. If you give as a full, then all the other employee will see your transaction. So like I said, I have already created this procurement agent also, so that's why I'm not clicking the save and close. When you are doing the first time, you should, once you enter all the details, then you have to click the save and close. So these many setups you have to do before creating the supplier. So one more setups is required for approval management. Ah, approval management. So here what we need to see, what we need to make sure is supplier profile should be auto approved, and spend authorization should be auto approved. So these two things we need to make sure in the approval management. So go to procurement in the functional setup area. So here scroll down little bit, so you can able to see the approval manager management. So here you just select the all task. So what we need to make sure is supplier profile change approval. So this should be in auto approval. So you have to make sure supplier profile. So click this enabled one and edit those rules. So here I have already created for auto approval. See, so what I have mentioned here is like if the supplier type is a supplier, so you see here supplier type field should be a supplier, then the supplier profile should be the auto approved. So likewise I have configure, so you can configure anything as per your business requirement. So but something you should be in auto approved, then only you can able to, once you create the profile, then only it will get auto approved. Then when you are creating the spend authorization of supplier, then this one should be auto approval. So edit the rules and check whether it's getting auto approval or not. See, this also I have created one, so this one also I have configured in auto approved. Here what I have mentioned, if the procurement BU, let me show you that, if the procurement BU i- is a India business unit, then it should be the auto approved. I think that's it. So these many setup we have to verify and you need to configure before you are creating the supplier. So we can So go to that navigation icon and click the procurement here, supplier. So for this, you have you have to do two role. One is for supplier administration, one is for supplier manager. So better you go with the two roles. Then only you will get all the access for the supplier creation. So go to task. So here create supplier is there. If the supplier manager role is not there, then this create supplier icon will be not there. You cannot see this create supplier icon here over here. So just give the supplier name. So relationship will be prospective or spend authorization. So if the supplier is a new, like if the supplier doesn't have any access, you can just do the negotiation for this supplier, the prospective supplier. If the if you are selecting the spend authorized means you can do the limited amount of yeah, you can do the PO creation, but limited amount. Once the supplier got approved, then only you can able to do the PO transaction and the invoice transaction. Before if approved supplier is not there, you cannot do all the transaction. You can do only the spend authorization, like reimbursement claim or anything urgent purchasing. For that purpose, we can go with this spend authorization option. So prospective in the sense you just you just type those detailed information, but you cannot do any PO and invoice over the prospective supplier. I'm just go with spend authorize. So which organization supplier has, you just mention. If that, if it is a corporation, if it's a foreign investment, you can choose the foreign investor. You just select the corporation. So country, which country the supplier. So you have to mention those. So I'm just giving our supplier is in India, and just I'm giving tax country as India. So as per the supplier information, you should enter the tax registration number, tax ID, and DUNS number. Just create it. This one is already existed, so I'm just giving. So it's a unique number. Supplier name is a unique name. So I have already created with test 11. So that's why it's getting error. So now I have changed it to text 30. So when you talk about the supplier, we have to make sure profile, address, site, and contact. These are all four important for supplier creation. So first we need to enter the profile. So we will detailly enter those supplier information in the profile area. So in approval criteria, I have given if the supplier type is a supplier, then auto approved. So when you are configure anything in auto approved, make sure that you need to select here. So what I have configured, if supplier type is a supplier, then it auto approved. So I have selected supplier. So if parent supplier in the sense, suppose this parent, your supplier has branches in several countries. So if you want to monitor or something you want to buy from those supplier, you just create a one supplier as a master supplier. You can within that supplier you can add in number of countries supplier. It depends on the business requirement. So for that purpose we are using this parent supplier. Rest of the things here, all the things are supplier information. If you are a one time supplier, so if you are want to buy the good from the supplier for one time, you can enable this or else just leave it. So these are all detailed information when it's established, and the website, supplier website, everything you need to enter here. So business classification. So what kind of business this supplier has? So small kind of business, large kind of business. So kind of classification you can mention here. So category wise, if you want to split the supplier, suppose this supplier is only automobile industry, so then you can choose the automobile, then you can able to easily identify the supplier is from automobile industry. So likewise, so for that purpose we can use this. And then this tax purpose and income tax and all, so it's related to financial. So financial people, they've already configured those things, you just select as per the company. So here you have to fetch the bank account, supplier bank account, then the payment attributes. So these are all basic information. Once you completed, once you completed, just click the submit button. Don't go for address and site. So once this profile get approved, then we will go for site and addresses. So what I have created is test 13 is our supplier. So it's got approved. So how can I confirm it? Like if it is not approved, then one icon will be showing here. It's saying like it's waiting for approval. So now it's approved. Then we can go with the address creation and the site creation. So when you create the address, so where the supplier actually actually be, like where it's located. So that address we need to type here. I'm just giving India. So as per the supplier address, you should enter all the address over here, state and pin code and city, and then email ID, fax, and phone number. And here, what is the address purposes? Suppose if you want to for this address only, I want to order purpose. You can just select the order, and if remit to if you want to do with the remit to address and RFQ and bidding. So for this particular address, if you want, if supplier has many location, but for that particular location, if we want to restrict those things, like I just want to here in this location, I don't want to do the RFQ and bidding. So for that purpose, we are checking this. So I'm just uncheck this because I don't want to use this address for RFQ and bidding. Just save it, then go to site. So once you get address is created, just submit it. So now it's waiting, pending. The profile change request is pending to the supplier, so it is waiting for approval. We have configured like auto approval, so it will automatically approve after some time. See, now it's got approved. Once the icon is gone, then we should mean we confirmed like this supplier profile option is approved. So now the supplier site icon is coming over here because of we have the procurement agent access. Sorry, we are the procurement buyer access. That is why the site simple plus symbol is showing over here. So for each supplier, we have multiple sites in the region. So according to the site wise, you have to enter. So just select the addresses which we already created, and then site purpose. So if you want to do the only for sourcing purpose or purchasing purpose or procurement card purpose, pay purpose, or primary key. So primary pay is like so whenever you do the transaction, always this site will come first. So if you select the sourcing only, in the sense, so sourcing you can do only the sourcing. Other than that you cannot do anything. So better you just uncheck this. So these and all site information. So here something is important, like you have to communicate with the site with email or something, and this consign freight. So shipping process, how you are going to ship the material. I mean, how you are going to receive the material. How the supplier should send the material to our warehouse. So those information you have to mention here. Then consign inventory. Consign inventory in the sense supplier own inventory. Supplier send the goods to our inventory, but we are not paying any